Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Austin here, or Luna. Hope you guys are having a wonderful night, wonderful day, whatever it is for you when you're watching this. Sorry I didn't upload yesterday. I've had the craziest 2 days, ever. Saturday night, or I guess technically Sunday morning, but Saturday night, I got hurt and had to go to the hospital. And I was there for 13 hours and it sucked. And then I got home at 5 p.m. and then proceeded to sleep 16 straight hours. Probably the longest I have slept in my entire life. And yeah, I woke up this morning. I'm okay, I think. The hospital didn't quite figure out exactly what was wrong, but they did say I was good enough to go home and to follow up with another doctor about it. So yeah, I really want to go into more detail for you guys and be more specific about what happened and what was wrong with me, but I can't because it's too graphic. And I think if I talk about it on YouTube, I'll either catch a, limited to no ads video or an age restricted video, and I don't feel like doing that. So I've thought about restarting my Patreon recently, so if I do that, maybe I'll throw it on there as one of the first videos. Anyway, today's story time. Let's start talking about that instead. I hope you guys enjoy this. Leave a like on the video if you do, and let's get into it. So this all starts off back as a regular day back in 2017. Now in 2017, I was living out in LA at this time, and I'm not gonna lie, the friends I had in LA, most of them were very cool and very trustworthy, but there was a select few, that I did not trust very much. And when I mean I didn't trust them very much, I meant I didn't trust them, not to steal from me, not to do some sketchy shit. And I know some of you might comment and be like, well, Austin, if you didn't trust them, why'd you hang out with them? Well, the problem was they weren't my friends. They were my mutual friends, I would say. My friends that I did trust had these other friends that would come around sometimes that I didn't trust very much. And a lot of the time it was just a gut feeling. It wasn't I had any proof they were untrustworthy. It was just kind of a gut feeling of mine. But this story time is about how one of those gut feelings proved to be true. So yeah, this all starts off as a normal day back in 2017. Like I said, I was living out in LA, I was loving it. It was fun. It was good. I was having a great time, right? And one day at 4 p.m., my homie Aiden texted me. Now, Aiden was a friend of mine out from LA that I actually really, really liked and really, really trusted. And he hit me up and he was like, yo, me and Jeremy are driving around right now. Don't really got shit to do. You want to hang out and get some food? Now, Jeremy, the person he was with, was one of the people I did not trust so much. But like I said earlier, it was just a gut feeling. It's not like I had a real reason not to trust him. He just gave me a bad vibe. So I thought to myself, you know what? Fuck it. I'll hang out with them. I need to stop being such a pussy and judging people before really getting to know them. Let me actually hang out with Jeremy. So I linked up with them. Aiden and Jeremy came and scooped me at my apartment. We then drove around for 30 minutes trying to find some food. We finally found some food. We ate there for 45, 30 minutes. And then after we got food, we just drove around some more, listened to some music. And then we went back to my apartment. Now, at my apartment, it was pretty bare bones at the time. I had moved into it semi-recently, so I didn't have a lot of furniture yet or a lot of stuff. And I remember it was Jeremy's first time seeing it. So when we walked in the apartment, I kind of gave Jeremy the tour. And when we got to my bedroom, I had my Steam open on one of the monitors. And specifically, my CS inventory was open. You could see the inventory tab, and it was on my CSGO inventory. And he goes, holy fuck, is that a Sapphire? And he points to my knives on a CSGO, and one of them happened to be a Sapphire. I think it was either an M9 Sapphire or a Karambit, which at the time, those were worth a lot of money, and now they're worth even more. I wish I held on to it, because I think a Karambit Sapphire is $20,000 now or something. But even back then, I think it was worth $7,000 or something, maybe even more. All I know is that it was a lot of money back then, and it's a lot of money today. And to put it simply, I really love that knife. That thing was awesome. I loved it. It was a sick knife. And when Jeremy mentioned it, I was surprised because I didn't think Jeremy knew anything about CSGO. I didn't think he knew anything about PC gaming in general. So when he said, is that a Sapphire? It surprised me. So I was like, what the fuck? You know what that is? He's like, yeah, dude, it's one of the best knives in the game. How the fuck do you have one of those? I was like, I bought it. He's like, you bought that shit? I was like, yeah. He's like, how much was it? I was like, I can't remember the exact price, but it was a fucking lot. It was thousands. He was like, holy shit, dude, that thing is sick. Can you open the game and inspect it? So I opened CSGO and I'm showing this dude my knife and he's geeking out over it, right? He's fucking tweaked out about this knife. He loves it. And it was kind of cool, it made me realize oh, this Jeremy dude's not so bad, we have some stuff in common. So after I inspect the knife and he gets on my computer and he moves around in the sunlight with it a little bit and he geeks out over it for a couple of minutes. He's like, dude, that shit is sick. That's really sick. And I was like, thank you, man. And after that, we just started talking about CS knives and stuff for a little bit and just kind of talking about CSGO stuff. And after like 15 minutes straight of talking about that stuff, Aiden interrupts and he's like, yo, can you fucking nerds stop talking about CS skins for 1 minute? Can we go do some shit? Like, it's nice out. And I was like, bet, like, what do you guys want to do? And they didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So we kind of like sat there for like 30 minutes trying to come up with a plan. And then finally, Aiden has this idea to go get crepes at this like random 24-hour crepe place in LA. I'm not going to lie. I didn't even fucking know what a crepe was back then. I still kind of don't know what it is. I had it like one time in LA. Actually, wait, I might have had it a few times, but I still don't know what they are. I always thought for the longest time they'd be like pancakes, but then I got one and I was like, what the fuck is this thing? It looks like if you skinned a pancake, took the skin, and then wrapped it around some shit. Like, look up photos of crepes. They look like skinned pancakes. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So we go to this 24-hour crepe place and we eat crepes and they were okay. Like I said, I'm really not even that impressed by them, but whatever, right? It was something to do. And then after that, it starts getting kind of late, and we drive around for a little bit into the nighttime. And then we go back to my apartment. We end up watching this movie. And before I know it, it's very late, right? Like, it's pretty late at night. Aiden and Jeremy are both exhausted, pretty much passing out on my couch. And I feel bad for them. I'm like, they're tired. They kind of live far away. Let me just offer them to spend the night. So I tapped them both on the shoulder because, like I said, they were both kind of like nodding off. And I was like, yo, guys, like, you want to just sleep over tonight? You can just drive back in the morning. And Aiden's like, oh, dude, that'd be great. Thank you. You cool with that? And Jeremy's like, yeah, I'm cool with that. So they both were going to sleep over. So I go into my closet. I grabbed the 2 air mattresses that I had. I blew them up for them, put them on the ground, gave them some pillows, some blankets, because I'm a good host. I know what it's like to not get those things when you're sleeping over someone's house and you got to grab like a fucking couch cushion or some shit or like try and cover up with a hoodie and it's just not long enough and you're freezing the whole night. I remember one night, my friend in like 8th grade didn't give me a blanket or pillow, and I went to the kitchen, I grabbed a roll of paper towel and unrolled the whole thing and slept with it. It was the most sad fucking cold thing ever. It fucking sucked. Anyway, I'm getting off topic again. So yeah, I set them up for the night, and then after that I said goodnight and I went to my room, I closed the door, and I go off into my bed and I fall asleep, right? Now I thought this would just be like a normal night. I'd sleep through the night. I'd wake up the next morning, I'd go out in the living room, say hi to them, they'd leave, and that'd be it, right? Well, I woke up 3 hours later in the middle of the night to a very weird sight. So I woke up to the sound of like keys typing on a keyboard, right? I had one of those very loud mechanical keyboards back then in like 2017. It was like one of those like Razer Deathstalkers, so it was like very loud when you would type on it. And I woke up to the sound of the clicking of the keys, and I remember I like opened my eyes like halfway, and I see someone sitting in my chair on my PC on my computer. And my monitors are very bright, so like they're kind of blinding me. And at first, I genuinely thought I was dreaming. I thought I was having some like crazy lucid dream, and I was just like imagining this. But then I kind of like really woke up a couple minutes later, and I realized like, oh shit, that's not just some random person on my PC. That's Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy was on my PC in the middle of the night, just straight using my computer. Now, once I realized it was him and he was on my PC, I kind of locked in a bit and I was like, all right, what the hell is he doing on my PC, right? Because it could be something very harmless, like, oh, maybe he had an emergency email he had to respond to and he couldn't do it on his phone or something. Or maybe he like couldn't sleep and just wants to play a game on my PC for a little bit until he gets tired. Because, you know, maybe he just assumed I'd be cool with that. I don't know, right? It could be something very harmless or it could be something not so harmless. So yeah, I kind of lock in and I focus on what he's doing on one of the monitors and I realize he's on Steam and he's scrolling through people on Steam. He looks something up, like a person's name, and he's scrolling through people. I then see him click on a profile and then send it a friend request. And I'm able to quickly glance at the profile's name and I see that it says Jeremy with some numbers. So I thought, okay, it's Jeremy's Steam. He's adding himself on my Steam. Maybe he just wants to be friends and he was afraid to ask me, right? I don't know, right? Well, then I see him do some crazy shit. He opens his phone. He accepts the friend request on the phone. He then goes onto my computer again, goes to his profile on Steam, refreshes it to make sure that I'm added, and then he clicks make a trade offer on his Steam, and then I see him start dragging my fucking Karambit Sapphire into the trade offer and click make offer. He's trying to steal my fucking knife. So I jump up out of bed, I grab the chair, I swing him around, and I was like, Jeremy, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, oh shit, I didn't know you were up. I'm like, yeah, you didn't know I was awake watching you try and steal a fucking multi-$1,000 knife? Yeah, dude, I'm awake. I'm watching you. He's like, dude, I'm sorry, like I wasn't gonna steal it. I just wanted to play with it for like a night and get some screenshots so I could look cool to my friends. I was like, okay, so let me get straight. You snuck into my room in the middle of the night. You jumped on my PC, tried to trade my very expensive Karambit Sapphire over to you in the middle of the night so you could get on CS, get some screenshots, and then get off. That's what I'm hearing here. He's like, bro, it's the truth. I was like, okay, I really don't think it's the truth, but whatever you say, Jeremy. And like as we're going back and forth, Aiden in the other room wakes up and he comes into the room and he's like, what's going on? What the fuck? What are you doing in here? And he points at Jeremy. And Jeremy's like, I was just on his Steam and he thinks I'm trying to steal from him. And Aiden's like, what the fuck? Why would he think that? He goes, because I was trying to trade his knife to my account and like get some photos of it. And Aiden goes, Jeremy, why the fuck are you trying to trade Austin's very expensive knife to yourself in the middle of the night? Like, no shit, he thinks you're stealing from him because you are stealing from him. So even Aiden, one of his good friends, is like, dude, what the fuck? And Jeremy goes into like full-blown like defense mode, like attack mode. He starts trying to like gaslight me. He's like, if you weren't so fucking insecure, Austin, you would have seen that it would have went right back to you immediately. And I was like, sure, dude, sure. By the way, guys, my Steam had like two-step trading on it. So even if he clicked like, you know, make the trade or whatever, make offer, I'd still have to go on my phone or my email and accept it. So that motherfucker was stupid. He wouldn't have gotten the knife regardless. Anyway, after he argued like countless minutes about how it wasn't what I thought it was and how he wasn't stealing from me, I just said, you know what, man, I can't really do this anymore. This is just ridiculous. I want to go back to bed. And quite frankly, I don't trust you being in my apartment after I go back to bed. So I'm going to like just have you leave now. He goes, what? You're kicking me out for this? Over a fucking CS knife? And Aiden's like, bro, that CS knife is worth more than your car. Of course he's kicking you out. And I was like, thank you, Aiden. And Aiden goes, yeah, man, I'm on Austin's side here. You got to go, bro. And Jeremy storms out of my apartment. By the way, he got a ride there from Aiden, so he didn't even have a ride home. So I think he had to like go Uber or something. Anyway, after he stormed out and slammed the door, I locked it behind him and I turned around. I looked at Aiden and he's like, dude, I'm sorry I brought that motherfucker in here. I didn't know he was like that. And I was like, bro, it really kind of sucks because I had like a gut feeling to not trust him and I didn't know why. And I hate thinking that way. But like, I don't know, man. I'm sad that I was right. He's like, bro, I've known that kid for years. Like, I did not think he'd ever do some shit like that. And I was like, it's all good, bro. Like, sometimes you just don't know what people. He's like, yeah, apparently not. Anyway, after this, I didn't talk to Jeremy ever again. Neither did Aiden because Aiden obviously didn't trust him either. Just because like it was such a random story he was coming up with. Like, oh, I was just trying to trade it to myself to take some screenshots. Like, even if he was telling the truth, say that's the truth, right? And there's a small chance it is, right? Say it's the truth. Why would you try and steal my knife in the middle of the night just to take some photos of it temporarily and then throw it back in my inventory without me noticing? I would have noticed, okay? You know what he could have did and it would have been the same shit and way easier? He could have went into one of those CS surf servers they used to have back in the day and just taken pictures of one of those knives. They let you have any knife you want back in the day on most of those servers. He could have just did that. I don't know, man. Like maybe he just wanted the screenshot of it in his inventory, but even that makes no sense because he'd be trading it right back to me according to him. I don't know, man. Weird shit, really wild. And it's crazy because like, it's one of those situations where like you can't do anything about it really, besides what we already did, you know, stop talking to the motherfucker and cut him off. But like, imagine if he got away with it. If he got away with that and he scammed me somehow and stole the knife, what was I going to do? Call the LAPD and be like, hey, dude, this guy took my Karambit Doppler. It's a sapphire phase. It's worth a lot of money. Like, they probably would have been like, yo, fuck you. Hung up the phone. Like, I don't know, man. It's just, it was weird back then because it was such a weird gray area because they were worth a lot of money, but they're skins. I mean, it still is a weird gray area. Like, it's really strange. Anyway, that's pretty much it. We never talked to the fucking kid again, and he attempted to steal a really expensive knife from me. Luckily, he didn't get away with it, and I blocked his ass on Steam. So all in all, happy ending. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the story. Moral of the story is, don't get scammed. You know, be careful with your items online and in real life. And yeah, that's that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see y'all later. Peace.